In the beginning of this episode, a scene is depicted in a palace where a girl with long purple hair has been destined for loneliness. She has surrendered to fate, and as a princess, she will not reject the destiny that has been determined since birth. This girl accidentally locks eyes with Rentaro in the library. A surprise flows through her entire body, and Rentaro feels something similar. This signal indicates that she is his destined partner. Rentaro never expected to meet his soulmate in the library. The girl steps back and opens a page of the book she just grabbed. She asks Rentaro to read the sentence she points to. Rentaro reads it, and it says, "I am the one who rules this land." Rentaro asks if she is a librarian. She points to a sentence in the book that says, "Yes, that's correct." Surprised, Rentaro wonders if there's a rule against talking in the library. He reflexively covers his mouth and looks around. The girl again points to the sentence in the book that reads, "What are you looking for by coming here? I am willing to help you." Rentaro begins to act out what he wants to say, but the girl shows him the writing. "Why aren't you opening your mouth?" Rentaro stops his demonstration and explains why he also didn't open his mouth. The girl shows a sentence that reads, "I'm sorry, she's not good at speaking with others." Rentaro understands and says he'll find someone else. However, the girl seems disappointed and runs away. Rentaro chases after her and taps her shoulder. He asks her to help him find a book he wants to read. She turns and follows him. Rentaro asks if there's a novel about romance that ends happily, where despite facing many challenges, the couple ends up happy. He wants her to recommend a book for him. She nods and immediately grabs several books from various shelves, handing them to Rentaro. Despite her petite stature, she is willing to fetch various books for Rentaro. Rentaro sees her enthusiasm and is even more impressed after seeing the piles of books she hands him. Using the writing in the book, she apologizes if this is bothersome to Rentaro and lets him choose whichever he likes best. Rentaro decided he would read all of them since the girl had gone through the trouble of fetching them for him. He immediately went to the lending desk to borrow all the books. Unfortunately, his new library card would only be ready and usable next week. Suddenly, the girl approached Rentaro and offered him one of her books, intending to lend it to him. Rentaro smiled, accepting it gratefully. He asked for the girl's name. She showed him her student card. It read Yoshimoto Shizuka, Class 1 to 4, the same class as Rentaro. Rentaro introduced himself, apologizing for not recognizing all the faces in his class yet. Meanwhile, Hikari and Karain were engrossed in reading a cookbook together. Hikari remarked that Rentaro would love it if she cooked the dishes from her book. Curious, Karain asked to see it, even though she herself was holding a cookbook. Rentaro came over and praised both of them for diligently reading through all those cookbooks. The pile of books continued to grow as Hikari imagined dishes that would make Rentaro happy. Shyly, Karain admitted she was just reading to expand her knowledge about cooking. Rentaro was touched and teary-eyed seeing both of his girlfriends being so dedicated. That night, Rentaro read the book given by Shizuka titled The Love Story of the Crown Princess. The book narrated the tale of Princess Lo and Knight Kamakuru, who faced numerous challenges and fate. Princess Lo knighted Kamakuru, expecting him to be a wise and just exemplar. Kamakuru vowed to protect the princess with all his might. True to his word, he managed to defeat a monster set on attacking the princess. Princess Lo stayed by Kamakuru's side as he recuperated, their eyes meeting across the boundary between princess and knight. Eventually, they found their way to each other's hearts, falling in love. One day, Princess Lo was to leave for a neighboring country, as she was already betrothed to the neighboring kingdom's prince. Kamakuru approached Princess Lo's carriage but was blocked by guards. Although Kamakuru would give his all to protect Princess Lo, he couldn't defy this fate. Rentaro shed tears as he read, encouraging both Kamakuru and Princess Lo not to be defeated by fate, to face all challenges and find happiness. And so, the first volume concluded here. The story continued in the second volume. After finishing the book, Rentaro pondered the concept of fate. Those destined for each other. If they didn't love and live happily, they would die. The next morning in classroom 1 to 4, Rentaro greeted Shizuka and intended to return the book he had borrowed yesterday. Shizuka was surprised to see Rentaro approaching her. Rentaro had finished reading it and admitted that the story in the book was very captivating. He noticed an open bag next to Shizuka inside which was a book similar to the one he borrowed. Rentaro asked if that was the second volume of the book. Shizuka handed the second volume to Rentaro. He was very grateful to her as he was very curious about its continuation. As a gesture of gratitude, Rentaro invited Shizuka out of the classroom. As they reached the classroom door, he saw both of his girlfriends arguing over which dish they wanted to cook for him. Seeing this, Rentaro felt they had already become close. He bought Shizuka a canned drink. They sat together on a bench at the back of the schoolyard. Rentaro tried to get closer to Shizuka. He had read many romance books, but the one he borrowed from Shizuka was truly captivating and made his heart race, especially the part where the princess and the knight accidentally crossed paths. Shizuka had taken care of that book since childhood and had read it repeatedly, so she understood its content very well. She even knew the structure of sentences on every page. Rentaro understood that this was why Shizuka used the book as her means of communication, quickly navigating its dialogues to converse. He himself couldn't comprehend literature to that extent. Shizuka was truly remarkable. However, Shizuka didn't want to be praised like that. Her ability came naturally to her. She had no one in her life she could call a friend, and it was in the world of books that she found solace. She was deeply grateful to Rentaro, pleading with him not to hate her. Rentaro could never hate her. He borrowed the first volume of the book again, promising to return it soon. In the library, the librarian approached Shizuka, remarking that she seemed happy and wondering if something good had happened. Shizuka panicked, clarifying that nothing had happened, she was just doing her usual duties. Shizuka then went to the bookshelf where she first saw Rentaro. There, she reenacted the scene from the previous day with her hands. The next day, Shizuka waited for Rentaro to approach her, even bringing along the third volume of the book. However, Rentaro didn't show up until the third day. Walking through the school hallway, she spotted Rentaro sitting with two girls beside him. Rentaro was with his two girlfriends, Hikari and Karain. Concerned about Rentaro's apparent lack of sleep, Rentaro, smiling, mentioned he had been trying to do something every night. Immediately, Hikari and Karain's minds wandered to lewd thoughts. Seeing Rentaro slightly exhausted and yawning, Hikari swiftly kissed his cheek, intending to share her enthusiasm. Rentaro happily embraced her, even calling her his angel. Karain, feeling left out, also intended to kiss him but ended up bumping her head against Rentaro's. He referred to it as a boost of fighting spirit. Gratefully, Rentaro called Karain his Gradius, which means war god. From behind the hallway, Shizuka witnessed everything. She felt heartbroken upon realizing Rentaro already had girlfriends, and naturally, he wouldn't have time to read books. She instantly recalled her past, being shunned by her peers who found her weird because she communicated through books. Even her mother often scolded her, urging Shizuka to talk like other kids. Her mother despised her, labeling her as a strange child. Overwhelmed with emotions, Shizuka cried, feeling utterly alone. After school, Rentaro approached Shizuka in the library. She was taken aback by his sudden appearance. Rentaro inquired if Shizuka had a gadget, asking her to install an application, assuring. This application is designed to convert typed text into electronic voice. After installing the app on his gadget, Rentaro sent a file containing the text of the book story that Shizuka had lent him. Rentaro had manually typed every single word from the book. Until now, Shizuka communicated through books, never looking directly at her conversation partner. With this app, she could communicate while maintaining eye contact. Rentaro wanted to help Shizuka communicate more easily with others. He asked her to give it a try. However, the sentence that appeared was, "I like you." Rentaro was taken aback. Shizuka cried and told Rentaro to ignore it. She didn't expect him to reciprocate because she knew Rentaro already had a girlfriend. Rentaro accepted it, not because he didn't care about the girl's feelings, but because his own feelings told him that he loved her too. Through the app, Shizuka expressed that she and Rentaro seemed destined not to be together. Just like the story of the princess and the knight in the book, Rentaro said they just needed to defy that fate. He hugged the tearful Shizuka and they started dating. Rentaro faced Hikari and Karain, introducing Shizuka as his new girlfriend and asking them to accept her. An angered Karain commented that Rentaro's brain must have gone rotten. In contrast, Hikari admired Rentaro for not abandoning her and Karain even after getting a new girlfriend. Rentaro assured them that his feelings for them hadn't shifted to Shizuka. He likened it to finding a new oil field while not abandoning the existing one. Most importantly, his feelings for all three of his girlfriends would never change. He would enhance his love for them through his actions. Rentaro also told them to be honest if they ever felt unhappy. At that point, he would commit seppuku. Kurana looked furious, while Hikari praised Rentaro as the best among men. To Rentaro, it was a fitting punishment for someone who hurt the ones he loved. Such a person didn't deserve to live. He even ordered a knife for it. With Rentaro's unwavering determination, this peculiar relationship expanded. Will Rentaro be able to manage this eccentric relationship, especially being inexperienced in love? Will he truly go through with his threat? Stay tuned for the next episode, and remember, Rentaro still has 97 more girls to go.